As the temperature drops outside, the conference race heats up in University Arena as the two first-place teams in the MAC collide as the Bowling Green Falcons swoop into town to face off against the Western Michigan Broncos. Good evening, everyone. Along with former Division I coach Teresa Beckman, I'm Aaron Coyle. Two first-place teams in the MAC. It's a huge one here tonight.
It sure is. Bowling Green coming up that huge 4-set victory over Miami. The matchup tonight pits two of the MAC's best defenses up against each other. Western Michigan brings a little bit more firepower to the table. I expect a lot of long rallies, a lot of exciting play. It's going to be a good one.
And speaking of defense for Bowling Green, she leads the nation in digs as Callie Simon.
The 5'8" junior libero leads the nation in digs, as you said, at 6.83. That's a whole dig more than the next person in line. And it can be incredibly frustrating, especially for a high-octane offense like Western Michigan's, to go up against this type of a defender. It's going to be interesting to see. She'll be key to this matchup.
Engineering the Bronco offense tonight is the setter, Mary Murphy.
Mary Murphy is a throwback setter. She truly is a quarterback. She thinks the game like a player of long pass. And it's going to be interesting to see what she does with this offense to manage her hitters against a defense that just looks to frustrate over and over again the hitters for the other team. So Mary Murphy is going to be a huge, giant key to this match.
The two top teams in the MAC collide here tonight as Bowling Green faces off against Western Michigan. All the play-by-play action is up next. Aaron Coyle, Teresa Beckman back with you live from Western Michigan University as we get set for the two first-place squads battling out against each other tonight. Western Michigan at 7-4 and Bowling Green coming off a very impressive win they had against Miami. The first time they had defeated the Red Hawks since 2013, and they are 9-2 on top of the MAC East. Should be an interesting one here tonight.
It should be. It's a big one for both teams as well, but what a crazy MAC season it has been. I mean, even last night with CMU taking on Ball State on Ball State's court, losing the first two sets and coming back and winning in 5. It's been a wild ride in the MAC this year.
Western Michigan coming off the loss they had Wednesday on the road. Take a look at the updated standings. There are the Broncos at 7-4. They're trying to capture their first regular season title since 2008. Bowling Green had that showdown with Miami on Thursday night, and after dropping the first set, they emerged with a 3-1 victory. Bowling Green's last MAC title came back in 2001, and they're a full game up against Miami. For Western Michigan tonight, what are some things you're looking for?
You know, it's really going to be important that they continue to play, continue to finish the match. When you're playing a team like Bowling Green, who really they keep the ball alive, they love to dig the ball, they have a lot of blocks, they have a lot of digs, and they're going to keep it going. It's going to be sometimes really frustrating to hitters like Western Michigan's, who really get after it from both pins. They try to change things up. If they're not getting kills, they don't get that satisfaction of getting the kills. Sometimes it's hard for them to keep transitioning it out. So I'm going to watch to see how hard they're pushing after they land from their attack.
All-time series history between these two squads. Western Michigan leads at 38-21. Kind of a rivalry after Western Michigan lost in the MAC tournament to the Falcons a year ago. But Western Michigan has not lost here at home against Bowling Green since 1997. Wow. That is 12 consecutive wins here at University Arena.
That is something. Wow. That's an insane stat. I had no idea.
Broncos are 22-6 all-time here at home against Bowling Green. 1997, they lost it 3-1.
You know, we looked at that the lineup and that kind of logjam in the middle in the West. A win here tonight would do so much for the Broncos' chances of winning the West because there's so much other stuff. And even right now, I believe that the other matches that started at 5 o'clock, it might even get a little murkier as CMU is ahead of Toledo in that match.
It was a big night before the match tonight for Bronco head coach Colleen Munson. She was really recognized for that 300th victory she had this year down in Tennessee against George Washington, and also 250 career wins here at Western Michigan as a head coach.
Such a great job. She does such a good job of developing her players as people and continuing to be competitive every single year. The only coach in the conference, I believe, that's been to the Sweet 16.
Colleen Munson in her 13th year. Coach, as we look at these teams being introduced and their starting lineups, youth. That's really a theme here tonight. Bowling Green has 1 senior and Western Michigan has 2.
Yes, and both have 11 freshmen, sophomore on their rosters. 5 freshmen for Bowling Green, 6 sophomore. For Western Michigan, 6 freshmen, 5 sophomores.
When you look at these two teams on top of their respective divisions in the MAC before the season, would you thought maybe it would be a year premature for these teams?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I think injuries have played a part, and some of the other rosters in the MAC that sort of kind of played into that a little bit, but both teams really getting a lot out of their youth. They both have to be happy about that.
Bowling Green at 9-2. Western Michigan at 7-4 meeting here tonight. Broncos undefeated here at home at a perfect 7-0, and Bowling Green 4-3 on the road away from the Stroh Center. That's a look at Daniela Tomich, the 6-year head coach for Bowling Green, Arkansas Little Rock graduate. And there's Colleen Munson in her 13th year for Western Michigan University, the Texas Arlington graduate, has her master's from Western Michigan University and was the head coach at East Carolina for 5 years before taking over as head coach. 2 first-place teams tonight in University Arena. For Bowling Green, though, they had not had a victory against Miami since 2013, and after a big win like that to head on the road, you have to worry about the focus of a team sometimes, but Bowling Green has been very focused this year.
They sure have. They've been consistent. I talked about it a little bit in the open. Bowling Green's just seemingly been consistent. In fact, they went on a 7-game win streak earlier in the MAC season before they finally, took it. And if you watch, kind of their talking points as they were, being interviewed and things like that, they were really the whole time like, it's not about a streak, it's just about being the best we can, 1-0 mentality. So they have really been consistent all year.
We are underway here from Kalamazoo, Michigan. 2 first-place teams trying to really get a stronghold in their conference. Down the line and out. Nicole Slimko, she's the only senior on this team for Bowling Green with the attack air from Crystal Lake, Illinois, and Crystal Lake South High School. Kathleen Riley stepping back to serve for the Broncos. Schmiegel, the young freshman for Western Michigan. Slimko with her 3rd attack so far tonight. Bowling Green leads the conference in digs. They're an exceptional defensive team. And Simon, who we previewed on the pregame show, is 1st in the nation in digs. They get the kill from the right side, and they've tied things up at 1-1.
Talked about the just the overall play from the outsides being key to this match. I'm going to just kind of put it out there and say that it's going to be key for them to be aggressive. A tip like the one Cash Schmiegel just did is probably not going to get it done against a team like Bowling Green.
Falcons take a 2-1 advantage. Maddie Brandywee back to serve, the 6'1" junior from Columbus, Ohio. Graduated from Bishop Hartley High School on the academic All-MAC 3.911 GPA. There's a kill from the middle, and the Broncos have tied things up. The freshman from Kentucky, Emma Yarber, in to serve for Western Michigan. From Lexington, Kentucky, and Henry Clay High School. That's the oldest public high school in Lexington. Played for the Blue Devils. Slimko getting some early opportunities, but that's an attack error, and it gives Western Michigan a 3-2 advantage.
It really does come all the way down to that first contact there. That was it was a little bit of a miss hit, I think, from Emma Yarber, but it was really out of system for Bowling Green, and that is not going to get it done for them.
It's a short from Yarber this time. Overpassed in a joust. Bowling Green setting things up, the slide, and that's a young freshman, Katie Kidwell, striking from the outside. Came in averaging about 1.7 kills per set, but she's a tremendous defensive player. Leads this conference in blocks. Kidwell from Watseka, Illinois, which is right on the border with Indiana. Tied up at 3-3 between these two first-place teams. That's the bread and butter for Western Michigan, the slide by LeMay. Bontrager, the MAC West Offensive Player of the Week. Slimko with the kill for Bowling Green. Came in leading this team in kills.
That was an impressive swing. She was at the 10-foot line there, and that was quite she's got a whippy arm. Usually when you're at the 10-foot line, you don't get that kind of pace in the ball. That was really nice.
Isabel Marciniak, the setter for Bowling Green, back to serve. Bontrager from the back again, but the attack error.
So right now, Bowling Green, what they're doing well is they're getting their block to just touch the ball. They're just getting them to touch the attacks, making these diggable. I have a feeling that that's how they're getting a lot of their digs. Marciniak
there. She was the MAC Freshman of the Year a year ago and the MAC Setter of the Year. Kill from Schmiegel, the freshman for the Broncos. Cash Schmiegel from Rockford, Michigan. Had nearly 1,000 kills in high school.
I like what she did, from the middle, though. She's moved it to the outside, so that's a pretty impressive transition she's made. But right there, she kind of pulled it into the 3 zone, and I think you're going to see our outsides on both sides of the pin, on both sides of the court, for Bowling Green and for Western, moving in and out.
Kill for the Broncos ties things up at 5-5, and there's Rachel Bontrager, the MAC West Offensive Player of the Week. Is 7th in this conference in points and 8th in this conference in kills.
What a heck of a dig by Kath Riley from the Broncos on that last play to keep it alive.
Kovacic, her first appearance for Bowling Green. Big block for Bowling Green, and they've improved it this year. They're 2nd in the MAC in blocks and 58th in the nation.
2.77. You don't see that a lot. When you have a team that digs as much as Bowling Green does, you don't see them getting that many blocks. I talked a little bit before the match about that with Bowling Green's coach, and it sounds as if it's not totally by design. Come back to that later.
Broncos tie things up at 6 apiece. Sydney LeMay stepping back to serve, the 3-time first-team All-MAC performer. Comes from Middleville, Michigan, about 40 miles north of Kalamazoo. In for the kill, and that's Isabel Kovacic, the 6'3" junior who is coming off 14 kills in that victory they had against Miami on Thursday. Kovacic from Littleton, Colorado, and Arapahoe High School. Now it's a look at the player who leads the nation in digs, Callie Simett back to serve. And Bowling Green takes a 2-point lead. Simett, 6.9 digs per set, first in the nation. Academic All-MAC in biology. Bontrager. Micah Belly with a nice defensive play. Jesse Holly in for the first time. Another block at the net for Bowling Green with Kovacic coupling along with Brandyweed. Brandyweed's 2nd on that team in blocks. Callie Simett continues her service rotation from Oregon, Ohio, which is a suburb of Toledo. Here's Kofi for Western Michigan. You can forget about it.
Nice to see Kofi getting involved early for the Broncos in that slide. If you can get Kofi involved early, it tends to go well for the overall game plan.
Kofi had 9 kills against NIU in that loss on Wednesday. Mary Murphy, our spotlight player, is back to serve. Off the block goes Jessie Holly, the sophomore from Upper Sandusky, Ohio. Came in 7th on this team in kills. Bowling Green, coach, they have 5 players averaging 2.1 kills per set or more. This is a team looking to improve offensively, but they've had very good balance.
Yeah, they've had good balance, and they're looking to improve offensively, but it's kind of a testament to their style of play. Like, they don't do anything outrageous. They don't have any huge players, but they just are consistently good. Somebody else picks it up from night to night.
Brandy Wee strikes. Maddie Brandy Wee, the Columbus, Ohio native, won a state title in high school, and that was the only state title in school history at Bishop Hartley, which is a Catholic school in Columbus, Ohio. Icobelli back to serve. It's Victoria this time. Her twin sister Paulina is on this team as well. Off the pin.
Point Falcons. Timeout, Western Michigan.
Western Michigan calls a timeout. Bowling Green off to a good start in this clash of first place teams. They're up 5.
It's now time to play.
Falcons lead at 12-7 here in set number 1. Couple first place teams connecting here tonight in Kalamazoo, Michigan. There's Callie Simon, who leads the nation in digs. Player who was a defensive specialist for that team a year ago, and she's playing middle back for the first time in her career, including high school. Had always played left back before this year. That's Victoria Icobelli, the sophomore from Novi, Michigan.
And it's a little bit systemic. You know, Bowling Green, their libero always tends to get a whole bunch of digs for sure, but you still have to execute, and she's doing a great job just managing the game and playing within their system. There's
the dig by Simon, but Kiana Ware extinguishes the point, and Western Michigan trails it by 4. Kiana Ware, the sophomore from Glendale Heights, Illinois, graduated from Glenbard West High School, where she played for the Hilltoppers. Rachel Bontrager back to serve for the Broncos, leads that team with 22 aces. Kofi from the middle for Western Michigan.
I tell you, that's a big deal. If they can, especially in transition, get the offense to speed up like that and get their veteran middles involved, that's going to be a really good thing for Western Michigan. And on the other side, Bowling Green's going to want to find a way to keep them out of system as much as possible to prevent that.
Service error gives Bowling Green a 4-point advantage again as Jessie Holly steps back to serve. Holly, a 4-year varsity player and a 2-time All-Stater in high school from Upper Sandusky, Ohio. Not to be confused with Sandusky, Ohio. It's a completely different town. Free ball coming for Western Michigan. Schmiegel. Brandy Wee off the slide. Ware off the block for Western Michigan.
Like to see Kiana Ware be just a little bit more aggressive on that. The first attack she had there, she kind of pushed it with 2 hands. That's just not going to get it done. At least get it to the setter so it puts it out of system.
Brandy Wee off speed that time. Schmiegel, there's Simon with another dig. Simon again, tremendously steady from that libero spot. Bontrager with the attack air, and the Falcons lead it by 4.
Pretty good idea Bontrager had there to go for a little bit the off speed after those hard hits. But I do have to say, I like the way that both teams are responding. They're landing, go, landing, go, landing, go. They want to finish these plays out. Going to be a lot of them tonight.
Schmiegel getting opportunities early. Bowling Green at the net again. They take advantage of it. That's been a strength of theirs the entire year. That's their setter, who was the max setter of the year a year ago. The first in Bowling Green history. That time a block for the Broncos with Ware along with LeMay. Western Michigan pulls to within 4. Kyle Stahl, assistant coach. Now it's Yarber for the second time in her service rotation. Slimko into the net. 2 in a row for the Broncos. Yarber's team made it all the way to the state finals and finished second her senior year from Lexington, Kentucky. Kidwell, the freshman, has a kill here tonight. She adds another one to her ledger. The Watseka, Illinois native. She's a first-generation college student in her family. Tremendous blocker, first in the MAC and 34th in the nation. Marciniak back to serve again for Bowling Green. Big kill at the net for Sydney LeMay. Coach, she does it on the move as she normally does.
No, she sure does. You know, I'm just sort of looking at the notes that I've been taking for this whole set, and there's not a lot of in-system passing happening on either side of the net. And these are teams, both teams are really high in the category of opponent aces. So right now, Bowling Green leads the league in giving up aces per set. They don't get ace a lot. It's 1.06. Right behind them in second place is Western Michigan at 1.07. So you would expect the passing to be just a little bit better.
The slide to LeMay and another kill for the Broncos. Sydney's third tonight, and she came in 8th in Western Michigan history in kills. Broncos trail by 2 as Kaylee Smith steps back to serve again. The 2-time All-Stater from Mendon, Michigan. A town with only 870 people. Slimko. Bontrager off the block, and the Broncos crawl to within 1. That forces a timeout by Falcon head coach Daniela Tomic. Western Michigan down only 1.
Yeah, look at both teams right now siding out in the 50% area. And that's not going to be, it's not totally inconsistent with what we thought would happen coming into the match. Both teams being pretty good and holding their opponents to lower hit percentage. But boy, if I'm talking to my passers right now, I'm saying, hey, beat the ball to the spot, get your shoulders to stay forward, and just get our setters in front of the 10-foot line just a little bit more often. So at least we have to keep the other team's defense neutral. We have to keep them so they're in a read situation.
Here are the keys to the game tonight for Western Michigan. Play from the freshman outside. Bontrager and Schmiegel have been keys so far tonight.
Yeah, that's going to be a huge key for this game a little bit because of what I just talked about. I expect both teams to serve aggressively, so the freshman outsides play and seeing if they can mix up what they're running so they're not just sitting on the left pin.
They want to finish plays and keep that ball away from Callie Simon, who leads the nation in digs. There's the Bronco libero, Kathleen Riley. She's 37th in the nation in digs.
5.03 digs, 5th in the conference. She does a really good job. She's a very, very solid libero, and I believe she's getting close to a milestone of her own.
She is 17 digs away at the start of the night from 1,000 in her career.
So 10 digs away now.
10 more. Has had a great early start. Smith back to serve with a chance to tie things up after the Falcons have led by as many as 5. Kovacic with the attack. Bontrager tucks it home past Simon, and it's tied up. Bontrager's 4th kill tonight. Rachel came in 8th in the league in kills.
Bowling Green, just such a steady team. As you look at them in the court, as they're responding to this 3-point run they just gave up.
Dumped down by Murphy, and Western Michigan leads it by 1.
That's that quarterback stuff I talked about when I talked about the throwback Murphy at the beginning of the broadcast tonight. She thinks the game. She really works hard. Oh, great.
Simon can't track it down that time, crashes into the scorer's table, and Western Michigan leads it by a pair.
Callie Smith on a 5-point run here. The last 2 serves have produced an overpass and an ace.
Smith is short this time. Simon with the serve receive. Slimko with the attack.
Wow.
Pancake by Riley. Kovacic gets the kill for Bowling Green. Their normal outside, Selena Canigan, did not play against Miami on Thursday and has not played so far here tonight. It's been Isabel Kovacic, the Littleton, Colorado native. Her dad was an NBA scout who played professional basketball overseas. Icabelli back to serve. Paulina, the Novi, Michigan native. She and her twin sister each won a state title there their senior year, where they went 55-2. And she ties things up. Came in 5th in the MAC in service aces with 27. Another block for Bowling Green. Kidwell, who leads the conference along with Kovacic. Falcons are on a 3-0 run.
Really gotta like that swing that freshman Rachel Bontrager just took. That first swing, she knew she wasn't gonna get the kill, and she played that off the block almost intentionally, I would say. And then that second set just wasn't, did not put her in a position to do much else with it. So, but pretty impressive first swing there.
That bread and butter slide play for Western Michigan results in a tie game with the kill coming from LeMay. Kovacic, another kill. She's a player who was 3rd on the team a year ago in kills. Had not played much this year, but had 14 kills against Miami and was instrumental in that victory on Thursday. Callie Simon, the nation's leader in digs, stepping back to serve. From Oregon, Ohio, and Clay High School. They slide it this time to Kofi, and the result is the exact same, and it ties things up at 20 apiece.
Keely Smith with a giant pass, giant in-system pass there to make that kill that you just saw on replay a thing. Great pass.
Kofi came in with 933 career kills, has an outside chance to reach 1,000. Holly. That's a kill for Bowling Green. Jessie Holly came in 7th on this team in kills. Had over 1,000 kills in high school. Falcons lead 21-20. Now it's Victoria Icabelli. Won 4 conference titles in high school from Novi, Michigan. And a 2-time first-team All-Stater in high school. Just out on the attack error by Kiana Ware. Victoria Icabelli back to serve, leading it by 2. Slide to Kofi. That's out on the sideline, and Bowling Green leads it by 3, and the Broncos need a timeout.
Yeah, so these last 2 swings by the Broncos were not horrible misses. This one right here by Kofi, first of all, 2 really great in-system passes. Murphy doing her thing to mix it around. Kofi just gets a little bit, not quite on top of it as much as she would have. But I love the fact that the last 2 swings were aggressive errors after point 20. I think that's so huge. So if I'm in that huddle, I'm a teammate, I'm a coach, whatever. I'm talking to them about, hey, keep swinging. It's going to fall in, pull down just a little bit more. We've got to reward these passes when they put us in system. We're not going to get it done against Bowling Green with off-speed stuff first. We have to get after them, and then we can get them off balance to go in front of them. But I love those errors. Hopefully, for Bronco fans, they can bounce back and get those to fall in.
Keys to the game tonight for Bowling Green. They wanted to improve their offense. This is a team who came in 217th in the nation in hitting percentage. They had to defend the Western Michigan University middles, which is really a universal key against this Bronco program. And they wanted to put pressure tonight on the Broncos serve receive.
You know, those last two tie together, and it's exactly what I'm talking about as I'm looking at the in and out of system. So defend the Western Michigan middles. The first line of defense against their middles is to get them out of system, and they're doing a pretty good job of that so far.
23-20 Bowling Green here in set one. Victoria Icabelli back to serve again.
You know, a point to that improved the offense, that first key for them. I've been talking about it. I don't have them in system one time. They have been passing on the 10-foot line all game. That is also the quickest way to improve your offense, is to get your setter in system.
Free ball coming for the Broncos. Blocked at the net. Bowling Green, a big strength of theirs, and it's Brandy Weed this time, who's second on the team in blocks. And it's set point for the Falcons. Icabelli again back to serve with a chance to put this one away for Bowling Green. Tremendous defensive play by Smith. Kiana Ware, but out. The battle for first place, and Bowling Green strikes first as they win 25-20 here in set number one against Western Michigan. Bowling Green coming off a huge win on Thursday, and they keep it going tonight in set number one. First set victory for Bowling Green here tonight as they lead Western Michigan 1-0. There's Bowling Green head coach Daniela Tomic in her 6th year. The big news for her is she became a United States citizen on September the 18th. At the age of 10, she started playing volleyball. She is from the former Yugoslavia. She moved to Croatia her junior year in high school. Then the war broke out. The war in Croatia forced her to move to the United States in 1995. Did not speak any English at all when she enrolled at Arkansas Little Rock. Joined an intensive English language program at Little Rock. And within 6 months, she said that she was pretty familiar with the English language. She had a Croatian teammate and a roommate at Little Rock. It helped acclimate things for her. And after a year, she said she really had the language down to a T. And by that point, she said the only thing she needed to get used to in the United States was the food.
Really?
And now, all these years later, on September the 18th, officially became a United States citizen. And she talked about how very, very proud she is of it. She said, "I am now an American. I couldn't be prouder."
Talked to her just before the match and congratulated her. It was the first time I'd seen her since that as well, and didn't even have to say what I said congratulations for, and she pointed to the pin that she's wearing on her lapel. It's the American flag and beaming. So awesome. So awesome to see that.
She came to Arkansas Little Rock and was actually granted an extra year of eligibility because of the war in Croatia.
Wow.
Talked to her for about 30 minutes on the phone. A very personable person. Loves volleyball. Very kind.
Has done an amazing job with this Bowling Green program.
Took over for Denise Vandewally, who was the head coach at Bowling Green for 29 years.
Yep.
And in her first year, she won the MAC tournament title back in 2012.
She did. 2012. It was over in Geneva, Ohio.
And they had a victory in the NCAA tournament that year. They defeated Yale, ended up losing it to Penn State. Set number 2 is underway, and right off the bat, there's a block. And Bowling Green sides out as they lead 1-0. Bowling Green came in second in the league in blocks. And that was one gigantic improvement for this Falcon team after they've been near the bottom of the MAC in blocks for all 5 years of Coach Tomich's tenure before this year. And she credits Katie Kidwell with a lot of that improvement, the freshman. That's blocked, but out that time as Keanu Ware gets the kill for Western Michigan. But she said Katie Kidwell, the freshman for Bowling Green, is one of only 2 players who I have ever coached who sincerely loves to block. She lives and breathes defense. That's Emma Yarber back to serve again for the Broncos, the Lexington, Kentucky native. They slide it to Brandy Wee, and a dig in the back row by Yarber. Blocked again for the Falcons. And that's the setter helping in on that block that time. The MAC setter of the year a year ago, Marciniak.
So I want to go back to that swing right there. Cash Smeagol was just a little tiny bit early, so a little bit, we say, out of rhythm. On the last point of set 1, Jessie Holly for Bowling Green had a similar situation. So instead of trying to hit it and trying to go off the block, what she did is she tipped it, which we're not crazy about against teams like Bowling Green and Western, both of them being great defensively. You don't want to see a lot of tips, but when you're out of system, she tipped it. But here's what she did. She put it in Mary Murphy's hands. She gave it to the setter for the Broncos, and automatically that puts them out of system. Moving down the stretch, it is going to be huge key to see if Western Michigan gets better at their out-of-rhythm swings, being intentional about where they're putting the ball.
Cash Smeagol had that last kill, and then the freshman Kennedy Potts came in and has her second collegiate ace. Potts, a sophomore from Muskegon, Michigan, was going to be basically a student assistant on this team before Sydney Cheatham injured herself in the first practice of the year, and then Potts stepped in as now a college player. Dumped by Murphy. Attack error for Bowling Green as Western Michigan leads at 4-2. Broncos up 4-2, and they trail 1-0 tonight after Bowling Green won the first set 25-20. Potts back to serve again, and another ace for Potts. Volleyball, soccer, and golfer in high school. Her dad, Dan, won a state title coaching for Fruitport High School in Michigan.
On this court. Won that state title right here on this court.
It's a 5-2 advantage for Western Michigan. There's Marciniak with the kill. Isabel Marciniak from Lambertville, Michigan. Graduated from Bedford Senior High School. Marciniak went to the same high school as Kayla Vouge, who plays for Akron, and also Nicole Reitnauer, who plays for IPFW. They had 3 Division I players on that team. Bontrager, but out. Bowling Green climbs to within 1 at 5-4. Marciniak, academic All-Stater in high school and a 2-time All-Stater as well. Sid LeMay on the move. Joust at the net, won by Bowling Green as Jacqueline Askin, the freshman from Louisville, Kentucky, is in for the first time tonight. Graduated from Assumption High School, where she played for the Rockets. Bowling Green has tied things up at 5-5 here in set 2.
So we talked about the defense, the battle of the 2 defenses.
And that just does nestle home for the ace. Marciniak's 14th ace of the year. Head coach Tomich talked about her leadership in her sophomore year. She's really taking it to another level. And there's another big serve from Marciniak. Bowling Green leads at 7-5.
So I started to say, we talked about the defense at the beginning of the match and kind of a little bit throughout that first set. The tail of tape. So in the first set, Western Michigan sided out at 41%. Not only is it hard to win at that, you're just not going to win siding out at 41%.
Slide for LeMay, forget about it. That's about as powerful as you'll get. Just a cannon shot that time from LeMay.
4-point run. 4-point run and then that. So they just have to get a little bit better at doing that earlier in a serving stint. You don't want to give up a stint of 5 to any servers.
Sydney LeMay, academic all-MAC in pre-med, back to serve, the chance to tie things up. That's an attack error from Jessie Holly, and it deadlocks things at 7 apiece.
The only good news about the fact that they sided out at 41%, Bowling Green wasn't much better, siding out at 52%. So I think this is going to be a little bit what happens all night. But boy, you sure can take it home if you just clean a couple of things up, and I'm always going to go back to the first contact is the program.
That's the 20th ace of the year for LeMay, and the Broncos are on a 3-0 run. Askin, the freshman. Kill for Bontrager, and the Broncos lead it again by 2.
So it's just going to be a match of runs, I believe. Right now, we had a 4-point run, followed by a 5-point run, followed by a, now we're on a 3-point.
Simon with another dig. There's the freshman Kidwell for Bowling Green. Blocked, but out. Western Michigan continues that run as they lead at 10-7.
That was a great dig by the setter by trade, Emma Yarber, and right back up to Mary Murphy, who then put up a really great ball to the outside pin.
Broncos force a timeout. They lead 10-7 here in set 2 as they try to equalize things at 1-1. Aaron Coyle, Teresa Beckman back with you live from University Arena here in Kalamazoo, Michigan, with the 2 top teams in the MAC standing-wise. Bowling Green won that first set by 5, and Coach, it has just been a big game of runs on both sides.
It sure has, and offensive, I guess, pattern, offensive streak, we're not able to get on either side of the net any sort of momentum offensively. Right now, Bowling Green hitting 140 for the match, negative 77 in this set. Western Michigan hitting 111 for the match, positive 77 in this set.
That's Paulina Icobelli back to serve. Was a walk-on starting the year, but she has been granted a scholarship by Bowling Green. Bontrager out. And when you talk about Paulina Icobelli, it was kind of a neat thing. They had a skills competition. She won that skills competition, and then they gave her an on-camera interview. It's now a viral video. She was reading the teleprompter, and on the teleprompter, it informed her that she had received a scholarship. Broke down, was very emotional, and that's how she found out. Western Michigan gets the side out, and they're hoping that this starts a mini run for themselves as they lead it by a pair. Mary Murphy, the Clips' 3,000 career assist here tonight, and Kofi takes care of the overpass with a big thump.
Liv Kofi lives for these overpasses.
Kofi, the 6'1" senior from Elgin, Illinois. Her sister Natalie is a college volleyball player as well. Another kill for Bowling Green. They're 8th in the league in kills, but trying to improve offensively.
Yeah, when you see a whole bunch of your hitters averaging about 2 per set, you just want to get that up. You just have to generate a certain number of points no matter how many times you're going to dig the ball. You have to get kills along the way somewhere.
Simon saves it for Bowling Green. Kofi again. There's the libero for Western Michigan and Kathleen Riley. Simon with another dig. Kiana Ware, the Illinois native. Longest rally of the night. Just out.
What great volleyball. Great adaptation, great creativity, and right now you want to see Kiana Ware continue to go. This was something that Western Michigan knew was going to happen. Land and go, land and go, land and go. It's going to be a whole match like this.
Callie Simon back to serve. Academic All-MAC in biology, and off the block goes Olivia Kofi to give Western Michigan a 2-point lead again. Falcons won the first set by 5. Here's Bontrager, the MAC West Offensive Player of the Week. And certainly the candidate for the MAC Freshman of the Year. Kovacic connects. Isabel, the 6'3" junior from Littleton, Colorado. Academic All-MAC and nearly a 4-point student in chemistry. Victoria Icabelli back to serve. 2-time first-team All-Stater in high school, but that's out. And the Broncos are back up a pair. Cash Schmiegel back in for Western Michigan. And now it's Kathleen Riley, the Overland Park, Kansas native. Won 2 state titles in volleyball and also won a state title in track and field. Bowling Green back to within 1. Jesse Holly from Upper Sandusky, Ohio. Town of about 6,500 people. Played for the Lady Rams in high school. Schmiegel, the freshman, gets the kill for Western Michigan, and that was a key tonight, how the freshman will respond.
Yeah, what a great job by Mary Murphy, making sure that she's keeping the eye on the ball. So you have the serve off the net, also known as a let serve. Anytime you can get the setter to pass the first ball, that's a win for your server, but what a great job Murphy did getting the ball nice and high. Great communication by Kath Brawley coming up and saying, nope, I got this, and then way to take care of that out-of-system ball on the corner, on the pin by freshman Cass Schmiegel. Good play all around on that one for the Broncos.
Cass Schmiegel had 6 kills, and she hit 400 in that loss against NIU on the road on Wednesday. Emma Yarber, the freshman from Lexington, Kentucky, back to serve. Brandy Wee with the attack. Askin, the freshman. Bontrager from the back row. Marciniak with the kill for Bowling Green with that left hand again. Marciniak stepped in for the injured setter a year ago as a freshman and emerged as the MAC Setter of the Year, the first in Bowling Green history. And she was the first Bowling Green player to be named MAC Freshman of the Year since 1996. Kill for the Broncos.
Sid LeMay is not messing around on that swing. Boy, that previous attack, I think she wanted it back. It was a great rally and kind of just came out of Murphy's hands a little funny, so it kind of led back away from the net. That one was a great lead, and it was, Sid just got excited. I think I saw her eyes get just a little bigger.
She placed it perfectly between the pin and the block of Askin. Service there gives the ball back to Bowling Green. Broncos lead it by 1 here in set number 2.
The Broncos gave up a pretty decently long run with this server last time she came around, so let's see how they do with the side out here.
Marciniak back to serve again. Dumped by Mary Murphy, and she has her 2nd kill tonight.
That's something you see from setters. Really, seasoned setters will do that often if they remember. That just tells me Murphy is dialed in. They know a server went on a long run. you'll often see if the setter's in a place to attack, you'll often see them attack just to get out of that rotation right away.
Askin again on the attack. Bontrager for Western Michigan. Bontrager's attack here has pulled this game again to within one. Paulina Icabelli, the All-Stater from Novi, Michigan, stepping back to serve. Played for the Wildcats in high school. That's the same hometown as former Detroit Tiger, Hall of Fame broadcaster Ernie Harwell. There's the kill from the middle for Bowling Green, and it comes from the freshman Katie Kidwell. It's Katie Ann Lorraine Kidwell from Watseka, Illinois, where she played for the Warriors. Tied up at 17 apiece. Kofi on the move. Bontrager. Kovacic off the block again, and she's giving a big contribution to this team with her 5th kill. And is hitting nearly 400. Isabel Kovacic from Littleton at Colorado. Bowling Green takes a 1-point advantage. Kofi ties things up in a big hurry.
Nice job, Mary Murphy, taking that ball slightly out of system and making it in system. Take a look at the swing by Liv Kofi. She's able to get that. That's not an easy set. She did a really good job there. Anytime you can get the ball to the middle pins right now, it's going to be a win.
7th kill of the night for Kofi to lead all players. Kovacic. Bontrager with the adjustment, but it just does graze the top of the pin, and Bowling Green takes the lead. Callie Simon stepping back to serve from Oregon, Ohio. Known for the Sundance Drive-In, one of the old relics of Americana. Kovacic again, and she's been huge tonight for the Falcons with 6 kills.
Looks like on both pins, they might be going for the outside hand of the Bronco blockers. They're sure getting a lot of kills, either down the lines or just off the block's hand.
20-18 Falcons. Ware hits it hard that time, but out, and Bowling Green leads it by 3. And that forces a timeout by 13th-year head coach Colleen Munson. It's a game of runs, and it's a late run for the Falcons. They lead by 3 here in set 2.
I would say overall the first contact has improved if you compare the second set to the first set, just as a whole for both sides of the net. There have been a little bit more in terms of aces, but both setters have spent more time in front of the 10-foot line, and that includes both the serve and on that first dig.
2 first-place teams matching up tonight, and coach, after tonight for both teams, there are only 4 matches left now in the regular season. It is truly crunch time.
It really is. That flies by quick, and that's why it would be such a big victory if Western Michigan were able to pull it out, because of the mashup of tied teams on the West. Right now you have your Miami and Bowling Green at the top. Those two kind of neck and neck. They're going head-to-head. But Western really does drive its own car, if you will. They are a little bit ahead. They can completely, I guess, write their own ticket without the help or hoping for anybody else.
Broncos searching for that first regular season title since 2008, and Bowling Green, they have not captured a MAC title since 2001. They've had 5 titles in their history. There's Simon, leads the nation in digs at 6.9 per set. Tremendous leader for this team. I asked the coach how much she has improved from last year, and she said really the leadership has improved. They recruited her as a serve receiver, and now one of the best liberos in the nation. Kovacic off speed that time, but it's the same result as she records her 7th kill. 22-18 at Bowling Green. Broncos looking to gain a side out. Kiana Ware with a big attack. Kofi blocked at the net. Brandy Wee helping in for Bowling Green. They're second in the MAC in blocks, and they force the final timeout for head coach Colleen Munson as they have taken a 5-point advantage.
4 points in a row on this service run right now. And, you know, it's not even passing. It's not necessarily the first contact here. It's just actually executing and putting the ball away. You had a kind of a jumbled up mess there in the middle on one of the swings. And then in transition, they're just not doing, in my opinion, a good enough job of being aggressive off the net so they can get themselves in rhythm back up to the ball so they can kill. And that was a key to the match going in for Western Michigan. They knew it was going to be long rallies. They were going to have to do a good job in transition.
Bowling Green coming off that big victory on Thursday at Miami, and now they come into a gym where Western Michigan is undefeated this year, coach, at 7-0.
You can see the frustration just a little bit as you watch the Broncos in this timeout. But as I mentioned in the opening, Bowling Green is just steady. They don't get too high, they don't get too low. Right now, they're kind of business as usual over here. I don't know that, we'll see. I mean, as we go down the stretch, I don't know that changes very much as I've looked in on them from time to time throughout the course of the season, whether they're winning or losing. They kind of have the same look the whole time.
Allie Simon, 5'8" junior, back to serve. It's been instrumental with her serve tonight as well as that trademark defense. Blocked again or across the top of the tape, and it is set point for Bowling Green. 24-18 Falcons. They lead 1-0. Kofi trying to stay alive here in set 2. Simon with another dig. Kovacic, but blocked down by Kofi and Bontrager.
5-point run by Callie Seaman. And now a long, steep hill to climb for the Broncos coming down the stretch.
Bontrager had nearly 1,500 kills in high school, back to serve. That's down for the kill for Jessie Howley, the 6'2" sophomore, and it gives Bowling Green identical wins. They're up 2-0 here tonight against Western Michigan, and 2 first-place teams battling it out in the MAC. We are at intermission. Aaron Coyle, Teresa Beckman back with you live from Western Michigan University in a battle of first-place teams here tonight. So far, it is advantage Bowling Green as they lead the Broncos 2-0. Coach, what are some things that you noticed early in this match that Bowling Green is doing well?
Bowling Green, like I mentioned, they're just being consistent the entire time. So they started out passing a lot of balls out of system, and they were able to weather that down the stretch. Their first contact got a lot better in set 2, and they just, again, they keep going at it. They know that they're going to keep you in rallies for a long period of time. They're used to that. Not that Western isn't, but Western's more of they're more of a terminal team. So their rallies tend to be just a little bit shorter, and it seems to be they're a little tiny bit frustrated at the dig over and over and over again coming back from Bowling Green.
And it's been a game of runs here tonight, and sometimes when you have runs like that, you need communication. And we had a chance to talk with Olivia Kofi and Sydney LeMay before the match today about that communication for this Bronco team.
There's communication between blockers, between the setter and the hitters, between the passers and the setter. And it's pretty much like everybody has their own part, and I'd say the most time you have is maybe 2 or 3 seconds between the setter setting the outside, which is probably the longest ball, or like the back row. And so it's like a quick split decision. So
we work on team communication a lot. During practice, we do pre-communication, during communication, and post-communication. And the hardest one is during communication because obviously there's not a lot of time between plays and stuff. So personally, I work on just like keeping it consistent, talking to the girls about being positive, what shots are open, what I need to fix on what I'm doing, like if I need to move the block anywhere or whatnot, and then a little bit of communication on what the other side's doing. So just their tendencies and what we need to fix during the game and make adjustments for.
Coach, how important is communication this game of volleyball?
Well, it's extremely important. It's the court has more people on a smaller space than any other sport, and so if you're not communicating, it's basically a choreographed dance of keep the balloon off the floor. So if you're not talking, if you're not communicating effectively, it can be incredibly frustrating.
Western Michigan is undefeated here at home, but it's Bowling Green. They lead it 2-0 at the intermission from Kalamazoo, Michigan. Back at University Arena here in Kalamazoo, Michigan, as Bowling Green has struck first. They take a 2-0 set advantage against Western Michigan. Bowling Green 9-2. They're in first place in the MAC East, and their success in those first 2 sets, they wanted to improve offensively as we take a look at the highlights, and that's exactly what they've done.
Take a look at this right here. So they were attacking, I mentioned earlier, they're attacking the line quite a bit, but they're really getting it done with their serve. Keeping Western Michigan out of the system it was in one of their keys to the match, and I would have to say they're happy with their execution.
Bowling Green came in second in the league in blocks, and they have certainly been very successful defensively tonight as well. Now for Western Michigan, they wanted to get their freshmen involved here tonight, and always those middles are the key for this team.
Yeah, and it looks like they're trying to kind of mix up those freshmen outside, both of them in and outside. So sometimes they're bringing them into the 3 zone, as you saw Cass Schmiegel do there, and Rachel Bontrager do right there, right on cue. But again, they've got to get themselves back in system as you see these couple of first contacts. Anytime Western Michigan is in system and has the option to set all 3 hitters, it's going to help them against this really good defense of Bowling Green.
Western Michigan has not lost at home to Bowling Green since 1997, but the Falcons lead it 2-0. Falcons lead it 2-0 as we get ready for the commencement of set number 3. A look at the stats so far here tonight. Broncos leading kills, but the Falcons leading blocks.
As we predicted before the match, I'm not sure about the aces. I bet you those are digs. Yep.
Set number 3 is underway. Kiana Ware, the sophomore, with the kill for Western Michigan. Kiana came in 3rd on this team in kills.
I'm actually going to say that's going to be a key to the match. If Western Michigan hopes to get themselves back in this match, they're going to need to see Kiana Ware being aggressive and being smartly aggressive, taking aggressive shots or putting the ball maybe in the setter's hands or in the off-blocker's hands when she's out of rhythm.
Maddie Brandewie stepping back to serve. 3.911 GPA and an academic all-MAC performer. Won a state title in high school. Bontrager from the back row. Askin, the freshman for Bowling Green. Askin again. Bontrager with the dig. Kidwell off the slide and the kill for the Falcons. Katie Kidwell has her 4th kill of the night. She and Jacqueline Askin are best friends and roommates, the 2 freshmen in the front line right now for Bowling Green. Randy Wee back to serve again. On the move, it's LeMay, but it's just
got the
touch at the net. Point for the Broncos.
I'm wondering if Coach is going to pull out the challenge card here. I think she's pretty adamant that there wasn't a touch.
Take a look at this.
Yeah, it looks like it caught the outside hand there. Of Marciniak. And we are going to challenge.
This is a challenge. Daniela Tomic in her 6th year as head coach for Bowling Green. The Arkansas Little Rock graduate. She was the head coach for 7 years at Florida International before taking over as head coach.
Don't you think they should have the stats like gettable like every other stat on what their challenge record is? As we take a look, can you slow that down? If we could take a look. I'm thinking it hits Marciniak's pinky there.
And an important thing to note, the angle they are looking at is not always the angle we are looking at. We might sometimes have additional views that they don't have.
It looks like it goes right through her hands and maybe catches her thumb. And it is going to go to Bowling Green, so you're right. And you know, it's important that you note that because you remember in the last broadcast, I was 0 for 2, but I was 0 for 2 because we were looking at better camera angles, I think. So that means I was right.
You were right.
I was. The refs got it wrong.
They admitted later on that they didn't have the camera angles that we did, and if they did, it might have been a different decision.
Absolutely. I think it's important that we clear that record up.
For your sake.
Right. That's the important thing here.
They're clarifying the score with the scorer's table and with each coach. Falcons lead 3-1. They have a 2-0 set advantage. Madeline Randy Wee stepping back to serve. Played for the Hawks. Went to a Catholic school in high school called Bishop Hartley near Columbus, Ohio. Broncos looking to side out and get some momentum here in the 3rd set. Ware with a big hit that time. That's a kill for Kiana Ware. And Coach, you talked about how instrumental she is to get started here in set 3.
Yeah, I wonder if Mary Murphy's got the mindset right now that she's going to get her back into the match. Mary Murphy and Kiana Ware have had a really good connection throughout the course of this season, and it is really going to be important for the Broncos that they get that going again.
Yarber with a short for Western Michigan, but there's Marciniak to dump it down for another kill. That's her 4th of the night.
That was an impressive attack. That would have been a hard ball to defend. Even though it was an up and down, sometimes we call that just a side set. It's usually, it can be counted on as an easy attack, but she has a way with that attack. She gets it from a high place and really makes it ungettable for the defense.
Slide to LeMay. That's another point for Western Michigan. Sydney came in 8th all-time in career kills in Western Michigan history. Needed 20 tonight to move into 7th place, and she has recorded 7. Broncos trail 4-3 here in set 3. Kennedy Potts, the lefty, back to serve again for Western Michigan. That's an overpass, and that's Sydney LeMay to take care of it.
Wow, Kennedy Potts switching it up a little. She's kind of a short, deep type of server. That was a flat, high-velocity bullet of a serve.
Potts had 2 service aces already tonight. There's Askin, blocked but out.
Once again, off that Bronco block, they really are skilled the Bowling Green Falcons of getting that ball to either just tip off of it or purposely swing. She absolutely went up to sweep that out of bounds.
That's the first kill tonight for Jacqueline Askin, and she came in second on this team in kills. Askin's dad, John, played football at Notre Dame and professionally for the Cleveland Browns. Was a big offensive lineman. And off the block that time goes Isabel Kovacic. The junior gets another kill for her, and that's her team-leading 8th.
Again, a little bit out of rhythm here, and she just goes up, sees the block there, says, I don't mind if I do, and gets a kill.
Falcons lead 6-4, joust at the net, won by Bowling Green and Jessie Holly. Holly, the 4-year varsity player in high school and a 2-time All-Ohio player. Falcons lead 7-4. Overpass again, and Katie Kidwell, the freshman, forces a timeout for Western Michigan. That was the key tonight for Bowling Green to put pressure on that serve receive, and they certainly have right now at this point. Bowling Green leads at 8-4 here in set number 3, and they're in front 2-0. Aaron Coyle, Teresa Beckman back with you live from Kalamazoo, Michigan, as Bowling Green has taken a commanding 2-0 set advantage, and a good start for the Falcons here in set 3, Coach, as they lead at 8-4.
Yeah, it looks like right now Bowling Green, as we talked about in one of their keys, they wanted to really put some pressure on the Broncos from a serve receive standpoint. And they're really making Kath Riley, the libero for Western, move a lot. And she's kind of going outside of her range to maybe try to help out just a little bit too much with Kennedy Potts, the young passer next to her.
Holly and Kidwell on the block for the Falcons. It's 9-4 Bowling Green. Bontrager just out on the off-speed attack. Falcons lead it 10-4. Western Michigan has not lost at home to Bowling Green since 1997.
Yep, it looks like we are going to have a challenge. And I'll be honest, I had that ball in, and it is right in front of us, although we're at a bad angle when it first happened. I think that's a good challenge. It depends on what angle they're going to get from the camera.
Bronco head coach Colleen Munson challenging the out call on that attack by Bontrager. Could be a big potential turnaround here in set 3. Broncos looking for any momentum they can get here early. Coach Munson was honored for that 300th career victory she had before the match tonight.
It does look like, you know, it's possible that the line judge who called this ball was a little bit, the view was a little bit blocked by the defenders. There were feet all around it. That's why I thought immediately that I don't know how they would have seen it.
Western Michigan challenging the out call on the sideline near the attack line from Rachel Bontrager.
Does look like we are trying to get a look at it for everybody here. Yeah, that looks like from the angle that I just saw, if we can get that on the screen, it does look like it's absolutely in. It's just going to be whether or not they have that same camera angle. If they have the angle that I saw, it looks like this is going to go for the Broncos.
Second challenge tonight.
Here it is right here. As Rachel goes up, that wasn't a great set, but as it comes down, it looks to me like it's falling right on that line there, and I don't know. Yes, it is, so it does go to the Broncos.
You can see Kathleen Riley immediately looked at that and tried to argue her cause, and they have granted the point to Western Michigan. That could be a big turnaround.
Sure could. And in defense of the line judge there, like I talked about, even on the replay, you can see as a player pursued it from Bowling Green, it does look like they may have obscured the view of the line judge and the up official both. So in that case, you'd kind of hope that they didn't call it, and you can just kind of cover your eyes and say, I didn't see it. But that's why we have the replay system.
Falcons lead at 9-5. Holly with the attack. That's into the corner. Jessie Holly came in 7th on this team in kills. Holly's had 8 tonight. She and Kovacic co-lead the way. Now it's Callie Simon back to serve. Leads the nation in digs. Simon had 45 digs against Miami once in her career, and that came in 4 sets. Bowling Green takes an 11-5 lead. Simon, the academic all-MAC performer in biology, comes from a suburb of Toledo from Oregon, Ohio. Bontrager for Western Michigan. Return but out, and Rachel gets a kill for the Broncos, and that's her 8th.
So anytime the Broncos can get themselves out of a run before a run materializes, that's going to be a little win for them right now. But they're going to need to score some points from the serve.
11-6, Bowling Green. Mary Murphy went over 3,000 career assists in the match tonight. Back to serve. Ware from the middle, and she splits the defenders in the back row, and now Western Michigan getting a bit of momentum here in set 3.
That's what it's supposed to look like when a team gets a free ball. 7 out of 10 times that should be a first swing kill. And it's not really been that clean for either team tonight.
Falcons lead 11-7. Kovacic, but out. 3-0 run for Western Michigan. Mary Murphy from Wilmington, Illinois. 60 miles southwest of Chicago. About 6,000 people there. Played for Joliet Catholic Academy, where she played for the Angels. Whistle and the side out for Bowling Green.
It looks like they have Rachel Bontrager in the net, and right away Coach Munson comes up with the green challenge card. This is a challengeable call.
You're allowed 3 challenges per match. It's the second tonight for Bronco head coach Colleen Munson. She had that green card out of her pocket before you could even breathe.
Yeah, she
presented it to the official.
And they're still discussing exactly what she's challenging. There is a net cam, and I do believe that is a camera angle they will use for this particular call.
Play is under review. Falcons lead 12-8. Western Michigan has already had a successful challenge here in set 3.
Let's take a look at it again. What they have is Rachel Bontrager, number 9 in the net. And it looks like the ball actually hit the net, not Rachel. As you see her go up, there's a little bit of a movement, but actually it looks like the ball hit the antenna. It really does. I didn't see that.
You can see the antenna wiggle on the way back.
Yeah, it actually moves right now. That ball's out. If they have this camera angle, and she challenged that. Now, I'm not sure what she said I'm going to challenge. So if she challenged the net call, and then they find the antenna gets hit, I'm not 100% sure if that's something that they'll call, if they're only going to look to see whether or not Rachel hit it. If Rachel's not in the net by their call, it's going to be a replay. However, if she challenged whether or not that ball hit the antenna, it's going to be point Bronco. So it's actually a pretty big distinction because they called the play dead. So that's why it would be a replay if they changed that particular call. For this, go ahead, sorry.
Just saying it's a battle of first place teams tonight, and Bowling Green has a 2-0 advantage, and this is a very Important set 3, obviously, for the Broncos. They trail at this point 12-8.
Right now, Bowling Green in this set hitting .462. So you talked about that key for the for Bowling Green. They're hitting .237 for the match. That's really good. That's a good number for them. But they're generating kills, more importantly. Generated 13 in the first set, only 10 in the second set. But they're hitting efficiently, so they're not giving points up. Western Michigan also with an improvement, hitting .250. Wow.
They have awarded the point to Bowling Green.
Wow.
So whatever specifically they were reviewing, they grant the call to the Falcons.
Let's see how both teams respond to this. If this kind of kicks up the aggressiveness for Western Michigan, who thinks very much that they just got the wrong call, and I do believe they did. But again, we don't know the camera angle that the referees are looking at. The officials have completely different views than us.
Bontrager with the attack. Falcons lead 12-8 here in set 3. Kiana Ware down for the kill for Western Michigan, and the sophomore collects her 7th kill. Ware from Glendale Heights, Illinois, the western suburbs of Chicago, graduated from Glenbard West High School. Now it's Bontrager back to serve.
Kiana Ware does have the ability to take over a match, and I really think if they're going to have a chance to come all the way back and win in 5, that's going to happen.
Cash Schmiegel with the block for Western Michigan. They trailed 12-10. Schmiegel, second-team All-Stater in high school from Rockford, Michigan. A preferred walk-on for this Western Michigan team, but she has been awarded a scholarship for next year, and the Broncos pulled within 1 of that ace as they trailed 12-11, and head coach Daniela Tomic calls a timeout. Once again, it becomes a game of runs. Broncos trail it by a solitary point at 12-11.
So it looks like, at least so far, that call that I do believe at least Western Michigan feels like they got the wrong side of, it seems to have ignited them a little bit. Their energy seems a little bit better. They seem to be connecting a little bit. But again, I'll point to Bowling Green and how steady they look. They're just kind of doing their thing right now. I think that was a good timeout by Coach Tomic. And if I'm in there talking to her, I'm saying, all right, so they're making some adjustments. They're starting to get Kiana Ware going. Let's make sure we just get a hand on that. Again, she's not trying. As I talked to her before the match, she and most coaches would agree with this. She's not trying to get blocks ever. They're blocking really, really well, but they're not trying to get blocks necessarily. They're trying to play good overall defense. And so that means just touch the ball. Let our defense, let our dig behind you, let our backcourt have a chance to dig that ball up and put our setter in a good position to transition it out. That's kind of their bread and butter. So they haven't even touched the last few hits by Western Michigan. I have a feeling that came up in the conversation on the Bowling Green side.
Bowling Green leads at 12-11. Broncos back with the serve with Rachel Bontrager from Valparaiso, Indiana, where she played for the Vikings. They slide it to Brandy Wee, and that's a kill for Bowling Green. Brandy Wee won a state title in high school, came in 5th on this team in kills. Her coach calls her much improved this year as a junior. That's her 3rd kill of the night, and Bowling Green leads at 13-11. Jessie Holly back to serve. Brandy Wee off the slide again, and another point for the junior.
So that was a big miscue on the Western Michigan side. That ball was fairly in system, especially for a setter like Mary Murphy. I mean, that was in system for sure. And I don't know what happened, where the hang-up was, but you got to get a swing on that as a hitter.
Kofi records a kill for the Broncos. Kofi has 8, LeMay has 8, and Bontrager has 8. Isabel Kovacic leads all players tonight with 9 kills. Kathleen Riley, the libero, back to serve. Dug up by Icabelli. Askin, the freshman. They slide it to Brandy Wee. Ware hits it hard down the line for Western Michigan, and that's her 8th kill.
What was that, 7 or 8 times back and forth across the net? That's the fun stuff.
It's 14-13, Bowling Green. Western Michigan has a chance to tie things up with Kathleen Riley, their libero. Askin, the freshman. Her mom played basketball at Notre Dame. Joust at the net. Sydney LeMay wins it, and Western Michigan has tied things up at 14.
Big joust. Important note here, Western Michigan so far in the 2017 season has not lost 3-0. They've not lost a 3-set match so far this year.
And they have not lost here at home. They're a sparkling perfect 7-0. Slimko back in the match. We haven't seen her for quite some time. Simon digs it up again. Whistle. Ball handling issue for Western Michigan, and Bowling Green leads at 15-14. Maddie Brandywee stepping back to serve. 3.911 GPA, and she's an academic all-MAC performer. Had 11 kills in that victory against Miami on Thursday. Dumped again by Marciniak, and that's her 5th kill. Marciniak is hitting .833 here today, the MAC setter of the year a year ago. From Lambertville, Michigan. Just north of Ohio. There is Kiana Ware, absolutely unblocked, and she's deadly.
That was incredible as we take a look at this. Right in rhythm, big double block in front of her, didn't matter.
16-15 Bowling Green, Kidwell off the slide. Schmiegel again, blocked back, and that's the setter again, and Marciniak. Bowling Green takes the lead by a pair as they lead at 17-15. Isabel Marciniak, the 2-time All-Stater in high school, stepping back to serve. Made it to the Final Four in high school 3 separate times at Bedford Senior. Just north of the Toledo area, right on the border. Came in with over 1,500 career assists, the sophomore setter for Bowling Green. Schmiegel getting a lot of opportunities here in set number 3, and that's a kill for the freshman from Rockford, Michigan. And Western Michigan once again trails it by 1.
Marciniak with a big run in set 2, so that was a pretty big side out over from an odd assistant pass.
Kennedy Potts has had a pair of service aces tonight back to serve, looking to tie things up. Kovacic. Blocked. Great defensive play by Potts. That time the dig by Riley. Bontrager. There's Bontrager. Forget about it. It's tied up at 17-17.
But talk about Kennedy Potts with that dig all the way from out of nowhere. Big kill at the end, but that play was all about Kennedy Potts and that awesome dig. 2 feet off the net, out of nowhere.
Pot sails it long for the service there, and Bowling Green leads at 18-17. Bowling Green has a 2-0 set advantage. Paulina Icobelli stepping back to serve, the All-Stater from Novi, Michigan. 4.0 GPA in business. Her twin sister on this team as well. Slide it to LeMay. Broncos a chance to set things up. Bontrager on the outside, and they've tied things at 18 apiece.
That's what it's supposed to look like. Western Michigan starting to get a little bit more in their groove. Now it's really going to come down to whether or not they can use their defense, which is when you're serving your own defense, to score points.
Bontrager's the first player tonight to reach double-digit in kills, and that's out by Kovacic. And Western Michigan has taken a 19-18 lead, and they force a timeout. Daniela Tomic in her 6th year calls a halt to the action here in set number 3. Falcons lead 2-0, but Western Michigan is in front 19-18.
And it feels like for the first time tonight, and maybe it's just, I don't know, but this is just my theory, but it kind of feels like this is the first real momentum Western Michigan has felt all night here late in the 3rd set.
We've had those short spurts on each side here tonight. Been a couple of challenges here in set number 3. One by Bowling Green, the other one by Western Michigan. Broncos out. There's Kennedy Potts talking to Olivia Kofi. Potts at 5'3", and Kofi listed at 6'1".
Potts having a really big match. Has not played a ton. She's gone into serve here and there. Hasn't played a ton this season, and has registered 4 digs, 2 aces. But she's doing other little things really well, and she's really creating a good energy on the court right now for her teammates. You see her going over and connecting with people, and she's just doing a good job of playing her role well. And she certainly has made the difference. She went in somewhere toward the end of the 1st set, if I'm not mistaken, as we see Sid LeMay, the senior, get ready to try to keep the momentum going, as Bowling Green is out of timeouts in this set.
LeMay, the freshman of the year in the MAC back in 2014, and she has been first-team All-MAC all 3 years. Holly out of the timeout with the attack for Bowling Green. Simon digs it up again. Bontrager off the block, and Western Michigan leads it by a pair.
So again, we go back to that consistency. Bowling Green just doing a good job of being intentional. They had 2 balls where they were out of rhythm, but they got them both to the middle blocker playing defense and middle back. Sid LeMay just made the plays.
Kovacic. That ball grazed the antenna, a little bit late to call it that time, but they get the call right, and Bowling Green crawls to within 1.
The line judge had it right away. I'm not sure we are going to have a challenge. I'm not sure that it didn't just hit the tape.
Colleen Munson has pulled out the green card again.
Yep.
That's her 3rd and final challenge.
It is her 3rd and final challenge. I wonder if, yeah, it's going to be hard to tell. It's going to be hard to tell here because we're at a slanted angle, but it really doesn't look like it hits the antenna at all. It's very close, but the antenna rattles, and he called it right away. The line judge was on it immediately, and I thought, that's weird. Ooh, I don't know, that last one, it does look like it hits the net
hit it.
And then hits the antenna. I think this, yeah.
Right there's a great angle from the truck. Devin Doxley and company.
I wonder.
Right there, but we don't have the
we're at this side
though.
of it, right? Like
the depth perspective.
Yeah, this is actually a very misleading angle. Like when you're, like I said, when I had the one call in front of us, when you're behind it like this, where you're off to the side, you actually, it's hard to see for sure If it's, yeah, but it did go to Bowling Green.
Bowling Green wins the challenge. They've taken 2 out of the 3.
Well, you can't fault Coach Munson for that challenge, though. 2019, and listen, that would have been huge get because it really would have made it for a 2-point spread there. But when you're down 2-0, you just got to stay in the match. As we mentioned before, Western Michigan's not been 3-0'd this season. They just picked up some momentum, so I don't think that was a bad challenge.
Simon back to serve, and the dump down with that left hand by Mary Murphy. Broncos lead it by 2 again. Murphy went over 3,000 career assists here tonight. Came in tied for first in the MAC in assists and 39th in the nation. Bowling Green trying to bounce back. Out on the attack here. They trail, the Falcons do, by 1. Bowling Green from Bowling Green, Ohio. 19,000 students. Right on I-75. They and Toledo have a gigantic rivalry in the MAC. But they only play once each year. That's just barely out. Western Michigan leads it again by 2. Cash Schmiegel checking back in at the net for the Broncos.
In this match, either team could go off on a long run at any time. Both teams siding out somewhere in the 50% or lower.
Marciniak, that's a rare time she doesn't get the kill on that dump. Brandy Wee off the slide, and the Falcons trail it by 1 again. Brandy Wee has her 5th kill. Had 11 on Thursday night against Miami. Jessie Holly, 2-time All-Stater in high school, back to serve from Upper Sandusky, Ohio. Kiana Ware, she flushes it home, and she's had some big moments here in the 3rd.
That was a great pass by Rachel Bontrager to set that up. That is so key after point 20, and you see the big swing by Kiana Ware. It's good to see her pull the trigger.
Kathleen Riley back to serve. 1 state titles in volleyball and track in high school from St. James Academy in the Kansas City area. LeMay, just not quite the connection that time, and Bowling Green once again pulls to within a solitary point.
That was a gutsy try from the junior setter, Mary Murphy, to get it to her middle from that angle.
Brandy Wee trying to tie things up, but it sails long and out, and it's set point for the Broncos.
That's 2 in a row. Long, really long misses for Bowling Green here late in this 3rd set. Meanwhile, you have Western Michigan kind of picking it up and starting to feel that momentum.
Kiana Ware back to serve, trying to put this set 3 away. Slimko. LeMay off the top of the tape. Bowling Green stays alive.
A side out to win it. Your side outside in volleyball is normally at a huge advantage. Now for Western Michigan, not tonight, although they have gotten better throughout the course of the match, but they're still below 50% side out. You should be somewhere up in the 60. You'd say almost 2 out of 3 times you should be at the advantage when you are getting ready to pass the serve.
Back setter of the year, Marciniak back to serve. And we are headed to extra points as Kovacic deadlocks things at 24 apiece, and she has her 10th kill of the night, and Colleen Munson calls a timeout. Western Michigan had a pair of set points, but Bowling Green extinguishes that point. They have tied things up at 24 apiece.
Marciniak with a pretty decently long run in set 2. She's got a nice serve, and they're set up well to defend in this particular rotation. So that was a good timeout. You would like to have seen your team take care of one of those 2 points, but as I mentioned, it's been a whole match of runs. So it's going to be important to make that first contact, but it does look like Western Michigan still feeling the momentum a little bit. They're being really aggressive down the stretch, and it's not something they were bringing to the table in the first 2 sets. So let's see what the quarterback, Mary Murphy, dials up for the offense.
Murphy was our spotlight player here tonight. It's the Bowling Green huddle. The Bowling Green Falcons. Freddie and Frida Falcon, they are the mascots for Bowling Green. A brother and sister act. Freddie came to fruition in 1950, and it took until 1966 for Frida to emerge upon the scene.
Love that.
You ever
know
seen
that.
them?
I have seen them.
Tied up at 24 apiece. Bowling Green has a 2-0 lead. Marciniak back to serve. Spiegel off the block, and it's set point again for WMU.
Talked about relying on the 2 freshmen outsides. That was not an ideal situation. Bowling Green got Western Michigan way out of system there. Cass Schmiegel coming through.
Kennedy Potts back to serve. Kovacic, that's the block at the net for Western Michigan, and they take advantage of it here in set 3. 2 sets to 1. Bowling Green has the lead, but some momentum on the side of the Broncos as they win it 26-24. Aaron Coyle, Teresa Beckman back with you live from Kalamazoo, Michigan, as they have forced a set 4 the Broncos have, with Bowling Green leading it 2 sets to 1. Broncos a 2-point victory in that set number 3.
Yeah, so it looks like they finished on a high note, Western Michigan. I mean, even though they went to those extra points and didn't side out, but boy, they've really got to focus on getting side outs a lot more efficiently. Right now for the match, they're still 47.9 side out. That is by far the lowest I've seen them side out. So I want to keep seeing them be aggressive and hit the ball.
Falcons lead it 2 sets to 1. For Western Michigan, Kathleen Riley has 17 digs, and she is now exactly at 1,000 career digs. And some milestones tonight for Western Michigan. Mary Murphy went over 3,000 career assists tonight. Has 34. There's Riley, only a sophomore, 1,000 career digs. Had her career high 35 in a match against Toledo. Doesn't seem to be deterred by this pressure matchup tonight for 2 first-place teams. Not at all nervous, do you think, Coach?
No. And that seems to play into their wheelhouse just a little bit. I think this is a team that likes to be a little bit loose when they play. They like to have fun. They've done a lot of work on their culture and how they communicate, starting last spring and into this season. And when they are enjoying themselves and each other on the court, it usually is a good sign.
Mary Murphy, Sydney LeMay, a couple veterans on this Bronco team. Remember, Western Michigan, they have 7 MAC wins this year, and every single win has been 3 sets to 1. So if they win tonight, they will buck that trend.
And they're 0-3-5. So this would be a 5-set victory they have not had, but you desperately as a coach want to have before you get to the tournament.
Bowling Green back to serve, and we are underway here in set 4. Marciniak. Kidwell, the freshman, off the block. Kidwell came in leading the conference in blocks, but has had some nice sparks offensively here tonight. That's her 6th kill, and she's hitting over 400. Kidwell from Watseka, Illinois, all-state player, and she was the conference player of the year last year. And Bowling Green takes a 2-0 lead. Paulina Icobelli, her twin sister Victoria on this team. Paulina, the 4.0 in business, her sister as well. Blocked for the Broncos, and they gain their initial point here in set 4.
Pretty good setup there by Kiana Ware over to the outside. They spent a lot of time out of system on those first 3 passes. Like we said, they did clean it up. So last set, so in set 3, both teams cleaned it up just a little bit, as you see Bowling Green get the side out. So Western Michigan sided out at 58%, still lower than you want it to be, but boy, at least we're getting in the 60 range. While Bowling Green kind of stayed where they have been. They're at 53. They're 54% for the match. Still lower than you want it to be for volleyball.
Kovacic has her 11th kill of the night. Her career high came back in her sophomore year when she had 21. That's LeMay off speed, but it counts for the Broncos, and they trail it by 1. We were talking off the air a bit, Coach. One of the keys tonight for Bowling Green was to contain the middles for Western Michigan. The Falcons have done a nice job at it so far.
Yeah, they certainly have. Liv Kofi, 23 swings, 8 kills, hitting 174. Sid LeMay, 28 attempts, 9 kills, hitting 107. That's low for both of those. Experienced middles.
LeMay off speed. Joust. Won by LeMay, and she more often than not will win those because she is so athletic.
She's so aggressive too. She really gets up. She's got strong hands, strong in her core, and she really does a nice job of getting to the ball and just putting the pressure on it, on the other team.
Service served by Potts, and the Falcons take a 4-3 lead. Now it's the other Icabelli's sister, Victoria, checking in. Won a state title in high school and was a 2-time first-team All-Stater. Great defensive play, but they're on the overpass. Bowling Green takes care of it to lead by 2.
You want to see Kennedy Potts do a little bit less here. Just kind of absorb the ball. She's poking at it just a little bit. They're going to keep going after her.
Bontrager has had a busy night. Free ball coming for Western Michigan. Bontrager cross court and out. Icabelli continues this service rotation. Player who won 4 conference titles in high school from Novi, Michigan. But that gives the side out right back to Western Michigan.
Sid LeMay with her own service runs tonight.
Big kill from the outside for Jessie Holly. Holly, the 2-time All-Stater from Upper Sandusky, Ohio.
The discipline Bowling Green is showing in those little tiny things. So they're not doing anything outrageous. They're really solid at a lot of the stuff they do. They're putting the ball on the first serve where they want it to be.
Kofi goes off speed that time off the slide.
Yep. And that's a rare off speed to fall down. I think that's where both middles, they do a lot of creativity when they're attacking, where Bowling Green's picking a lot of those up. But the other thing that they're doing is, for instance, here's one of those little things that not a lot of people see that make a difference. Every single time Sid LeMay has served and she's in, every ball has gone to her. She's a middle blocker, doesn't play defense a lot, and they're making her play the ball. They're making her dig it. That is one of those little tiny things that disciplined teams do well. Bowling Green is sure showing that discipline tonight.
8-5 Falcons. Brandy Wee stepping back to serve. Bowling Green coming off their first win against Miami since 2013, and they're looking for their first win here at Western Michigan since 1997. And they lead it by 3, and it's the freshman again, Katie Kidwell. Had 5 kills against Miami. Coach Tomitz talks about Kidwell, says she loves to block and loves the big moments. Shows a lot of emotional maturity for a freshman. There's a kill for Ware from the middle for Western Michigan.
Yeah, she talked about it before the match with me too. She said, you know, it's not even part of our system to get a lot of blocks. I mentioned this earlier in the broadcast, but she said she has just such an instinctive knack of just getting up and getting after it. And a lot of times when coaches say they don't want a lot of blocks, they don't want a lot of bad blocks. So the way that Bowling Green uses the block like they did there, you don't want to give up points that way because it's completely undefendable. Bowling Green does that well, and they want to avoid that being done to them. So, but she said she has such a knack for making sure she takes care of it that she just kind of lets her do her thing.
10-6 Bowling Green. There's Kidwell. Ware off speed, and another point generated for the Broncos.
Ware having a nice night after a rocky start. That's one of those balls that wasn't quite, the set got a little tighter than Murphy wanted it to at the end, and Kiana Ware made sure she got a kill off of it. Did a nice job taking care of that set that she didn't love.
Kidwell with the middle attack. Kovacic out. Broncos trail it by 2. Kathleen Riley back to serve again. First team All-Stater in high school from Overland Park, Kansas. Back attack. That's barely in, and she nestles it home. Jessie Holly.
Murphy wants that one back. Made a judgment call, thought I'm on the line. It looks like it's over my right shoulder. I'm going to let that go, and it totally it snugged the line there.
Paulina Icobelli back to serve. Schmiegel, the freshman for Western Michigan. Simon, who leads the nation, digs it up again. Blocked, but off the antenna, giving Bowling Green a 4-point lead. Service error across the end line. It's been back and forth, really a game of runs tonight. Bowling Green took the first 2 sets, and Western Michigan won it 26-24 in set 3. Now it's Kiana Ware who comes in with 17 aces. Kovacic has had a big night, and she records her 13th kill. Had 14 against Miami on Thursday, really stepping in for Selena Canigan, who has not played in each of the last 2 matches. Canigan came in 3rd on the team in kills and 3rd on the team in blocks. Simon back to serve. There's a slide for Sydney LeMay. Kovacic off speed, and she has 14 kills, equaling what she had on Thursday night. And Colleen Munson, the head coach for Western Michigan, calls a timeout. Falcons lead 14-9 here in set 4. Falcons 14, Broncos 9 here in set 4, with Bowling Green holding a 2-1 advantage. 2 first-place teams locking horns tonight in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Bowling Green 9-2 on top of the MAC East, and Western Michigan at 7-4 on top of the MAC West. Dumped down by Murphy. Kovacic again, and she's really taking advantage of things here in set 4, and she has 15 kills. Kovacic from Littleton, Colorado, graduated from Arapahoe High School, where she played for the Warriors. Sydney LeMay off speed. Big hit that time by Holly.
Wow.
Schmiegel. Dumped down by Murphy for the score.
Well, there was some interesting stuff to that rally there. All along, a lot of creativity. But great ending there by Mary Murphy, who said, that's enough, we're gonna end this, let's side out and move on. If they're gonna make a move, they have to start to think about doing that really, really soon.
Kennedy Potts back to serve again. Dumped down by Murphy again, and she's had 2 in a row.
We talk about this a lot. Murphy isn't necessarily overly offensive setter, but as you can see here, when she decides to, she's going to get the kill. But you say often as a coach, if they're going to give it to you, keep taking it until they don't give it to you anymore.
And Kovacic keeps taking it. That's her 16th kill. Inching nearer to a 300 hitting percentage. Came in 4th on this team in kills and was 3rd on the team a year ago. Academic All-MAC with nearly a 4.0 GPA in chemistry. Falcons by 5. Bod Traeger destroys it.
Whoa.
Had Simon reeling that time. The libero, as we take a look at this. Wow, right on top of Simon.
She assures everyone she's okay.
Simon says pain.
Yes.
17-12 Bowling Green. Simon leads the nation in digs. Tremendous defensive player. Now it's Jessie Holly from Upper Sandusky, Ohio, which is actually 60 miles away from Sandusky, Ohio. Sandusky, the home of Cedar Point.
Is it north?
Upper Sandusky is south of Sandusky.
That makes no sense.
If you went any north, though, you'd be in Lake Erie
true.
there. Off the slide, it's Brandy Wee. That's an attack error. Broncos trail by 4.
So down by 4. They're going into their back row rotations where Mary Murphy's going to be in the back row. So they're going to have 3 hitters. Kiana Ware's been hot lately. She's got 12 kills, hitting 276. So this is the time to make a run. This is the time to make your move if you're Western Michigan.
Brandy Wee off the slide, and she splits the defenders in the back row. Came in 5th on this team in kills. From Columbus, Ohio. That's her 7th of the night. Maddie Brandy Wee stepping back to serve. Won a state title in high school all the way back in 2011. That's a serve-receive issue for Western Michigan. Timeout, Broncos. Falcons lead it 19-13. Western Michigan captured that 3rd set, but they're down coached by 6 here in set number 4. What are some things they need to get straightened out in a hurry here in the 4th set?
I'd love to see the first contact. You don't have to be perfect in that first contact, but there's just been a whole lot of overpasses, and it really comes down to their feet. So we always talk about, as coaches, beat the ball to the spot. And that's from the setting position, but it's also from the passing position. So you never want to necessarily be just drifting through the ball. There are some people who teach passing to and through. That is a style of passing. However, that's not what they're doing here. They're sort of getting to the ball late and just kind of letting it push them around rather than getting there early, setting their feet up, and letting their platforms redirect the ball. Also, I'd want to try to redirect that ball high into the middle of the court. Bowling Green made their living on that in that first and partially second set. They were on the 10-foot line the whole time. Now they have a different style of offense, so that's not a big deal for them. But just get the ball, give your hitters a chance. Like I mentioned, especially now, the Broncos are on rotation 1, which means they have 3 hitters in the front row: Kiana Ware, Liv Kofi, and Rachel Bontrager. So they want to use that firepower. This is the time to make their run.
19-13 Falcons. Brandy Wee back to serve again. They slide it to Kofi. Kofi again, but across the top of the tape, and Bowling Green leads it by 7.
Yeah, Kofi just a little out of rhythm there. That was a tough one because she was the only hitter Mary Murphy had that wasn't actually on the floor when she set the ball, so she really had to set it to her. She wasn't quite prepared.
Brandy Wee second on the Bowling Green squad in service aces this year. Back to serve. Slimko, she has just one kill tonight, came in leading this team, and she's the only senior. Western Michigan gets the ultra-important side out. Olivia Kofi, the senior from Elgin, Illinois, played for the Larkin Royals. Rachel Bontrager stepping back to serve. Schmiegel. Simon digs it up.
See if they can take care of this free ball. That's a good first contact.
Kidwell, the freshman. Kidwell has 8 kills. Her career high is 14 against Northern Kentucky. Had 11 blocks in a match this year against Kent State. She leads the MAC in blocks. Now it's Marciniak, the MAC Setter of the Year and the MAC Freshman of the Year a year ago, back to serve. Broncos a chance to set things up. Middle attack, and it's shoved down, and there's Kidwell on cue. Leads the conference in blocks.
Yeah, an up and over set right there would have been awesome as both blockers stayed in to cue in on those middles. They wanted to shut the middles down, and that was evidence that they're following the game plan there. Murphy had gone up and over. Of course, hindsight's 20/20, and it's easier from the sideline to see that.
Schmiegel. Middle attack by Kidwell. Kofi back row, but out. Falcons 2 points away from a victory here tonight. Marciniak, a 2-time All-Stater in high school from Lambertville, Michigan. Gives the ball back to Western Michigan. Sydney LeMay checks back in. And Kathleen Riley stepping back to serve. 2 state titles in high school. Kind of a new high school she's from, St. James Academy. It opened back in 2005. There's a kill from Slimko. That's her second of the night, and it becomes a match point for Bowling Green. 24-15 as Paulina Icobelli steps back to serve. Off the slide, it's LeMay. Bowling Green continues this point on. Whistle, and the point for Western Michigan, and they stay alive.
Caught Bowling Green under the net and ruled that to be a danger to the other team, so play stops. It's good to see Western Michigan continuing to be aggressive through this little bit of a struggle. This would be one heck of a comeback.
Kovacic has had a huge night for Bowling Green. That's Holly, and that takes care of it. Bowling Green comes on the road and defeats Western Michigan for the first time here since 1997. Falcons win the clash of first place teams tonight, 3-1. Aaron Coyle, Teresa Beckman back with you live from Kalamazoo, Michigan for the final time here tonight as Bowling Green defeats the Broncos 3-1. Coach, we talked about it in the open. A battle of first place here tonight. Bowling Green comes out with a victory. What are some things that they did to earn this win tonight?
You know, I talked about it through the match. What they did really well is they kind of stuck to their game plan. You can tell they're a really disciplined team. So they don't have really big guns offensively. They do a really good job of just keeping the ball alive, staying in the play. They did that over and over again. But they do little things that people don't notice that really make them effective. If you can get your opponent out of system over and over and over again, it's really frustrating, and that's a little bit what they did. They frustrated the Broncos. They didn't really let them get into an offensive rhythm. They did that just by putting the ball in the right place.
For Western Michigan, they dropped the match here tonight, but 4 matches left, and it's really the postseason run for them at this point. How do they bounce back?
They have to get themselves focused on the things that are going to help them win and forget all of the other stuff. So it's about little things, especially for a team who has struggled a little bit on the road as of late. They're going on the road next week to Eastern Michigan and Central Michigan, and it's going to be important that they travel well. Now, they don't have to stay overnight, so that might play to their favor because they're both kind of short trips. But they're going to have a good week of practice, come in hungry and ready to go.
Bowling Green wins it here tonight against Western Michigan, 3-1 as they move to 10-2 and the Broncos drop to 7-5. So for Teresa Beckman, I'm Aaron Coyle saying so long from Kalamazoo, where Bowling Green wins it 3-1. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live on the ESPN app, or to watch this entire game on replay, as well as other games on our family of ESPN networks, log on to watchespn.com or download the Watch ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.